On the news, 7 security operatives killed in Ihiala community, Anambra State following gunmen attack. Nigerian Navy assures of commitment to ensuring oil production increase to 3 million barrels per day by December 2025. And Federal High Court freezes 67 bank accounts over 52.9 million naira fraud. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Adigun. We begin in Anambra State, where no fewer than 7 persons have been confirmed killed on Monday when gunmen attacked security operatives and unarmed civilians in the Yala area of the state. The state police public relations officer, SP Tochukwu Ikenga, who went on an on-the-spot assessment visit to the scene, confirmed the incident in a statement made available to journalists in Oka, the state capital. Ikenga revealed that the gunmen attacked the security operatives at around 11:20 a.m. According to the police spokesperson, the joint security team rescued one of the victims, who is currently responding to treatment in a hospital. Ikenga added that the commissioner of police in the state, Nage Obono Itam, has ordered an immediate manhunt of the assailants. Following Governor Siminalayi Fubara's presentation of the Rivers 2025 budget on Monday, December 30, the All Progressives Congress in the state has slammed the governor for presenting the state's budgetary estimate to a factional House of Assembly comprising just 3 lawmakers. Fubara shunned the factional 27-member assembly loyal to his predecessor and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to present the 1.9 trillion naira budgetary estimate to the Oko-Jumbo-led lawmakers. In reaction, the Rivers APC Publicity Secretary Chibike Ikenga accused Fubara of perpetrating an illegality in his budget presentation, adding that the governor flouted court orders by not presenting the 2025 budget to the pro-Wike lawmakers led by Speaker Martins Amewule. Ikenga said the APC expects Fubara to await determination of issues before the final court and also obey the judicial pronouncement and positions. And to security matters, the Defense Headquarters says the armed forces of Nigeria have made significant strides in combating terrorism, insurgency, and other criminal activities across the country over the years. The Director, Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known at a press briefing in Abuja, where he outlined the key achievement of the armed forces of Nigeria from January to December 2024. According to the Director, troops have recovered 8,815 weapons, 228 million and 4 ammunitions, and denied oil theft of an estimated sum of over 68 billion naira.
Several of these threats, needless to say, adversely affected innocent citizens and disrupted peace and security across our country. It is important to realize that the terrorists exist for the sake of war. And for the sake of peace, they must be destroyed. It is for this reason, that our troops have continued relentless and painful pressure on the terrorist enclaves, hideouts, and strongholds as an incentive to speedily defeat the terrorists and hastily end the war. During the course of the year, troops eliminated over 1,000 notable terrorist leaders, as well as their replacements. We eliminated also their commanders and combatants, among others. We also assure that similar fates await those parading themselves as terror leaders and commanders today. Persons like Bello Turji, take it from me, is merely a dead man walking, as he will soon follow suit with many others that have been eliminated during the course of the year.
Residents of Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, are still reeling from the effects of the devastating floods that swept through the region, leaving widespread destruction and displacing thousands of residents. Experts and local authorities are now focusing on recovery and long-term solutions to prevent future disasters. Speaking on the situation, environmental experts emphasized on the urgent need for proactive measures and strategic modalities to ensure that victims can rebuild their lives and return to a sense of normalcy. On his part, the Police Public Relations Officer, Borno State Command Nahum Kenneth Daso, shed light on the role of security operatives in the aftermath of the flooding, highlighting the improved coordination and dedication of security teams in protecting lives and property.
The flood has been devastating for my family and me. Our home has been severely affected with significant damage to our belongings, which was emotionally challenging. We had to sleep for 2 nights on top of the roof, and we thank God that we made it. I was able to salvage essentials and cherished belongings, including documents, electronics, few belongings, and personal items. Well, I've been living in this community for over donkey years, let's say like over 35 years. I've never seen such a kind of flood since I was born.
The resilience of the people in the state is what one will commend. And the military, despite the fact that their statutory responsibilities were supposed to be in aspect of security, they've been able to go into humanitarian activities. We give kudos to the Nigerian military for finding ways in which they rescued a lot of people. And sister agencies were not also left out. But one thing clear is there is the need for the revisiting of the whys and how the incident of the Aloe Dam happened. And where necessary, those held responsible for this disaster should be either reprimanded or outrightly sacked. This is just the most important aspect. But another thing is it brought Borno people together, because those on the other side were able to come together to help those that were affected. And this does not go just by religious lineage or tribal lineage. Everyone was involved.
And in other stories, the Nigerian Navy says it is committed towards ensuring that the nation's daily crude oil production increases from 1.8 million barrels to 3 million barrels by December 2025, in line with the directive of President Bola Tinubu. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony of Operation Delta Sanity 2 in Port Harcourt, the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, said since the launch of the initiative, it has curbed crude oil theft, illegal bunkering, and pipeline vandalism, stressing that the nation's daily crude oil production has increased from 1.4 million barrels to 1.8 million barrels per day. Speaking further, the special guest of honor at the event, Heineken Lokobiri, who flagged off Operation Delta Sanity 2, commended the Navy for ensuring the safety of the nation's waterways and called for support for the Navy to boost the nation's daily crude oil production. It's time for a short break, but still to come on the news. South Korea begins releasing Jeju air crash victims' bodies to families. Stay with us for details.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
When you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
Welcome back. As a recap of our top stories, no fewer than 7 persons have been confirmed killed in Anambra on Monday when gunmen attacked security operatives and unarmed civilians in the Ihala area of the state. The State Police Public Relations Officer SP Tochukwu Ikenga, who went on an on-the-spot assessment visit to the scene, confirmed the incident in a statement made available to journalists in Oka, the state capital. Ikenga added that the Commissioner of Police in the state, Nage Obono Itam, has ordered an immediate manhunt of the assailants. We also told you that the Nigerian Navy says it is committed towards ensuring that the nation's daily crude oil production increases from 1.8 million barrels per day to 3 million barrels by December 2025, in line with the directive of President Bola Tinubu. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony of Operation Delta Sanity 2 in Port Harcourt, the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, said since the launch of the initiative, it has curbed crude oil theft, illegal bunkering, and pipeline vandalism, stressing that the nation's daily crude oil production has increased from 1.4 million barrels per day to 1.8 million barrels per day. In case you missed any of our news bulletins, and for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store, on Facebook, or at TV360 online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
It's time for business news. Let's join Tamilore Akinkwole, who's on standby with the latest. Over to you, Tamilore.
Thank you, Simi. Well, in the world of business, for many Nigerians, the year 2024 has been fraught with financial struggles amidst the consistently rising cost of food product and transportation. This in turn has caused a ripple effect that increased the cost of living, especially food prices. The situation began when President Bola Tinubu removed the fuel subsidy in 2023, which led to an immediate and dramatic spike in fuel prices. Since then, the Nigerian government has implemented several initiatives to alleviate the harsh realities of those reforms and help return the economy to a more stable state. Now, in this next report, TV360's Joy Ushejem highlights the policies that impacted Nigeria's economy in 2024.
The Nigerian economy has continued to feel the ripple effects of the fuel subsidy removal. For years, the subsidy kept petrol prices artificially low at great cost to the nation's economy. However, in 2023, President Tinubu's administration finally eliminated the subsidy. By the evening of May 29, 2023, the price of petrol had risen to 500 naira per litre, up from around 198 naira or slightly more in some areas. Then in September 2024, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited raised petrol prices nationwide to over 855 naira per litre, citing severe financial challenges. This led to a substantial increase in transportation costs, as well as the prices of food items, goods and services.
Based on that, everything have went up. So I have to do project, and sometimes some of my customers do come. They usually complain that, "Oga, what I bought here last week is more higher than what I'm getting now." But we now, we that went to the market is as the same thing. We feel too. That is what we are feeling too, like the same thing. When we go to the market today, I can buy this thing for five naira. If I go next week, I can get it for like 20 naira. In fact, 15 naira gone save.
It really affects us because with them, as you see my shop, I used to fill my shop. If you like 2 million naira, you fill the whole shop. But now, if you 10 million naira, you not use 10 million to buy anything.
It's not funny. Like last 2 weeks, I came to market to buy groundnut oil. It was 11,000. I came last week, it was 10,000, and this week is 14,500. I don't know how we are going to cope in this regime. I don't just get it.
Amid these challenges, the Dangote refinery emerged as a beacon of hope for Nigerians. With a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, the refinery finally commenced operations this year. This marked a significant milestone for Nigeria, as it now had access to domestically refined petroleum products, reducing the country's long-standing reliance on imported oil. It raised hopes among Nigerians that petrol prices would decrease.
Have a situation where you might find one that is selling where you don't have much queue, but the price is, it's way above what the general person on the streets can. Because as at now, there's spend in the land. You don't know where to get this product from. Considering the fact that not only do we use it for mobility, but a number of us also use it in our homes to power up when power supply goes bad. And a lot of people also use it for their businesses too. So it's coming at the right time, and congratulations to Dangote Refinery.
MS to Nigeria is about 1,117 naira per litre. That's what it costs NNPC to bring petrol to Nigeria. But if Dangote coming on stream supposed to reduce that procurement costs from 1,117 naira. That's eliminating the importation cost, the cost of logistics. So it's going to reduce the cost of importation, but it's not going to actually reduce the pump price because NNPC have fixed this pump price below their landing cost of petrol.
Sadly, fuel prices remained largely unchanged despite the opening of the Dangote refinery. In a bid to address the rising cost of fuel and transportation, President Tinubu's administration launched the Compressed Natural Gas (CNG) initiative. This intervention, which the government said is aimed at providing relief to Nigerians by promoting alternative fuel subsidies, was described by experts as long overdue.
It's actually strategic economically as a result of lower costs of transportation. Nigerians will be able to transport, themselves from one place to another on a lower cost of transportation, which is just like an alternative means of transportation, especially mass transportation in Nigeria. So lowering the cost will also help to lower some cost of goods and services. But how many Nigerians can actually, take advantage of this? Just 8 buses. I'm sure 8 buses is not enough for even one state, not to talk of the whole nation. So I think just from what the president says, this is the first phase. So we'll continue to look up to the other, phases as these buses will be coming in.
Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves increased from $32.9 billion at the end of 2023 to more than $38.8 billion by mid-October 2024. Cardoso discussed these significant improvements, noting that the reserves grew by 12.74%, reaching $39.12 billion by October 2024. He highlighted that these reserves are now enough to cover over 12 months of imports, far exceeding international benchmarks.
The current account surplus has strengthened consistently in the past 3 quarters, recording a surplus of $6.06 billion in third quarter 2024. This positive trend is largely attributable to a favorable trade balance driven by increased remittance inflows and decline in imports.
Nigeria's economy grew by 3.46% in the third quarter of 2024, with output reaching 20.115 trillion naira, up from 3.19% in the second quarter of 2024. The growth was primarily driven by non-oil sector, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria's economic growth for the third quarter of 2024.
Well, I don't see what value have added for the average Nigerian, but what is telling the average Nigerian is that some of the reforms of the government is working. You need to be patient based on this report, and so the value will come, but it will take time. That's what this report is just saying. Because when you look at the report holistically, you have to sometimes ask yourself whether this report is truly a true reflection of what is happening in the country. So for the average man, it's still same because the only thing they saw this report said that the unemployment rate has come down. But again, you remember that they have changed the employment rate, which used to be about the highest before, but they changed the parameters intended to calculate the unemployment rate, and they say anybody that can earn a living is considered employed.
In another significant development towards the end of the year, the Tinubu-led administration introduced a series of tax reforms. According to the presidency, these reforms aim to radically transform Nigeria's tax administration for greater efficiency. The 4 proposed tax reform bills passed a second reading in the Senate but sparked controversy, with some stakeholders in the country rejecting the bills and describing them as anti-democratic.
This is a law and the derivation principle with the VAT and the other reforms that is coming with the other tax bills. What's going to happen is that those huge revenues coming from what we'll call sin consumption, those ones will now have to come to the states that do not consider it sin, and it forms part of the reasons why northern Nigeria, especially northern governors, are clamoring to the high heavens.
% of what we have before goes to the state. 50% of what the state get before is by population, while we have the other percentage by derivation and the other percentage by equal sharing. So the impact of this is that 50% by population would likely will go down.
As 2024 comes to a close, Nigeria's economy is preparing for the next phase in 2025. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, projects that Nigeria's economy will expand by 3.2% in the coming year, while inflation is expected to decrease to 25%. In response, President Bola Tinubu has presented a 47.90 trillion naira 2025 budget of restoration to the National Assembly, assuring Nigerians that his government will take measures to reduce inflation to 15% in the coming year. Joy Uchejem, TV360, Lagos.
While still on business, the Federal High Court in Abuja has approved the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission's application to freeze 24 bank accounts domiciled in different banks over an alleged 52.9 million naira fraud. Justice Emeka Nwite gave the commission the go-ahead to freeze the account for 90 days pending the conclusion of the investigation. The judge said the bank account in respect of which the other was sought as subject matters of investigation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in relation to money laundering and terrorism financing. We'll go on a short break here and be back with Stock Market Report. The Nigerian Exchange Limited (NGX) wrapped up the last trading session of 2024 on a low note, with the all-share index depreciating by 0.22%. However, the market's annual performance painted a different picture, boasting an impressive 37.65% growth for the year. This marks a significant turnaround from the market underperformance during the 2015 to 2019 period and highlights its resilience throughout the 2020s, particularly in standout years like 2020, 2023, and 2024. Now, on the final day of trading, Ethanol recorded the most significant drop with a 10% decline, closing at 24 naira 30 kobo, followed by Union Disconsult, which also depreciated by 10%. Now, the trading session saw 437 million volumes of shares traded across 8,830 deals, amounting to a turnover of over 40 billion naira. Now, when compared to the previous trading section, this represents a 32% decline in volume, a remarkable 160% increase in turnover, and a 36% drop in the number of deals. Now, on the global stage, trading trend varied, with the UK's FTSE and the US Dow Jones closing in the greens, while Japan's Nikkei mirrored the NGX with a decline, which also closed at 0.96%. And the foreign exchange markets, the naira continued to depreciate among major currencies. On the black markets, the naira traded at 1,655 naira to the dollar, 2,165 naira to the pound, and 1,715 naira to the euros, reflecting ongoing challenges in currency stability as the year ends. And that wraps up business and stock market reports. Over to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Tamila, for that update. And on the foreign scene, South Korean authorities have started releasing the bodies of victims from the Jeju Air Boeing 737-800 crash to their families. The tragic incident occurred when the aircraft crash-landed and burst into flames at Muan Airport. The plane was carrying 181 people on a flight from Thailand to South Korea. Out of those on board, only 2 flight attendants survived and were pulled out from the wreckage. According to the nation's transport minister, the handover procedures for the bodies of 4 out of the 179 victims have been completed, allowing their bereaved families to proceed with funerals. And on sports, stand-in coach for the Super Eagles B team, Daniel Ogumodede, has said that he was open to having more Nigeria Premier Football League stars compete for spots in the home-based squad for next year's African Nations Championship. Ogumodede and his Rangers international coach counterpart Fidelis Ilechukwu secured Nigeria's qualification to the tournament for the first time in 6 years after beating Ghana 3-1 on aggregate in their final qualifying game. The tournament will be co-hosted by Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda from February 1 to 28, 2025. And that's all on news now. Thank you very much for watching and Happy New Year in advance.